Okay, now if you've made that commitment and said, yes, I'm going to give it a go, the question is, how do you start to create the funnel? Because that's what this is. It's a giant funnel. And again, sticking with the fish where the fish are, first and foremost, you need to decide which fish in the sea am I going to be targeting, right? And how are you going to decide that? Well, we've already gone through that. But hopefully you've gotten a collaborative group who've said, yeah, this is it. Now, the question is, where do those fish swim? Well, that's the million-dollar question. How do you get access to them? You know, frankly, it really depends on which group you're going after. But in my experience, industry trade associations are a good way to do it. If you can work the referrals, so personal referrals, from people within your friends, family, and your professional network. LinkedIn obviously is a great tool, increasingly a better tool, especially if you can start to participate in the relevant groups that are in your industry. There are angel networks, quite a few of them, in fact, and those angel groups work locally, they work nationally, and they work globally. Sometimes the angel group has a screening committee, and you need to work through that screening committee in order to be able to pitch. I wouldn't rely on, just because you get an opportunity to pitch in front of an angel group, the probability of success with that is low, but if you do it continually, your probability goes way up. What happens if it turns out that you happen to live in a place that doesn't have a lot of investors, a lot of people who want to invest in the kind of business that you have? Well, you got to get on the road. I mean, I'm not talking about just wasting your time. I'm talking about going to the places that you need to go. I have personally invested in European startups who have said, hey, we know that the kind of investors that we want are based on the West Coast in the United States, and we go there and we talk to them when we meet them face to face. It's a big investment of time and money, but it worked. There are others who may say, hey, going to have to go to a different place. And it could be virtually anywhere, but you know where the fish are that you're focusing on, and you need to come up with a big funnel. There's lots of tools. You can use online marketing, and you need to obviously comply with securities laws when you're doing online marketing. But that's a very difficult thing. Now, within the materials that we have some recommendations of both links to angel networks around the world, and we have a little bit of a cheat sheet on what you got to do in order to build the funnel. Face-to-face interactions and the serendipitous collisions are a great way. You never know who you're going to meet. How do you do it? Well, you got to start networking. You got to get out of the basement. You got to go to the co-working spaces. There's lots of co-working spaces. What about the incubators? Even if you're not in the incubator, you might go hang out at the incubator, go to lunch with people, network, tell people what you're up to. There's accelerators. Can you get in there and maybe you can attend their demo day, get an invite, and the whole thing is to sort of keep building your network. You've got the toolkit, so as soon as you have a qualified lead, conversation, boom, you're on top of it. So the whole thing is you want to build the maximum number of qualified leads and take them through the funnel and keep qualifying them, just like any other sales process. And if you take them through that pipeline and you have a compelling offer, it should happen. That's how it works. It's no different than selling a product or a service. In this case, it's one of these consultative sales processes, because you're not going to get a quick yes. You might get a quick no. And by the way, I'd much prefer a quick no than a slow maybe. But as you go through this, just ask for the sale, qualify it, build the leads, and frankly, just go where the fish are. I'm sometimes asked, as a former securities lawyer / recovering securities lawyers, is it appropriate for you to ask, your securities lawyer to try and introduce you to potential sources of capital. And different firms have different views on whether they want to do that for a variety of different reasons. It has been my experience, at least on the west coast of the US, that is frequently done, and that's considered to be one of the value adds of going to a deal-intensive law firm. They do a lot of deals, they have access to a lot of information, and frankly, they know which fish like what fish food, and there's some credibility associated with it. In Europe, it has been my experience, a lot of firms are quite a bit more conservative about that. So, when you put together your advisory board and your professional network, it's a worthy question. I mean, I wouldn't rely on it, but honestly, a good qualified referral from somebody who's well respected in the space, the relevant space, is extremely valuable and can get you indoors that might be more difficult to get into otherwise. And that's, anyone who's in this space that has access to high quality deal flow, if they're willing to sort of stand behind the referral, hey, it's a 15-minute meeting, 30-minute pitch. If you can get in the door, that's half the battle.